Hello, YouTube. We're back with more VoD reviews. It is the last series of Swiss and the NA Civil War, as it is indeed FlyQuest versus TL. Thanks so much for tuning in advance. It's been really fun doing these streams for all you guys. As always, feel free to drop a sub if you guys want to see more. I'm going to cover quarters, semis, finals, and all that good stuff. Likes and comments help the channel out a lot. And follow me everywhere at CubbyXX, especially on Twitch, where I stream these live. That being said, let's dive on in. All right, we got FlyQuest versus TL. The NA battle. Okay, so Aurora and Yone were very heavily deprioritized among these two teams. I will say, a lot of people were like, oh my god, why didn't FlyQuest just play Yone here? Well, I actually think that TL, like, this is a bit of a draft, patch up for them. They have to ban Yone. They do not play it this game. They end up going with Xin plus Jax to dissuade FlyQuest from going Yone, which I actually kind of liked. I think that this does put you in the hole a little bit for draft, but it is one way to make sure that FlyQuest doesn't play Yone. I do really like the FlyQuest response, though, so I feel like FlyQuest are ahead of draft after these three, but we have a way to play out as TL. Before that, besides that bans, this is fine. Leona's been played a lot by Busio. I actually think that FlyQuest has a decent read. I like how Leona interacts with a lot of things right now in the meta, and you can force a lot of things off your timers, unlike Rel, who can't really take flashes away with her ult. Yeah, I actually like... I think Leo brings a lot of value that teams aren't abusing. Ziggs, Kai'Sa, and Nico taken away from TL on blue side for Fly. Get bans. They get Skarner. Renata and Urgot taken away. Meanwhile, Lucianami denied, which I like a lot. Very vulnerable Lucianami. And then Rel taken away. As Rel is a good pick in a Skarner. It's a support that interacts really well. And then, again, Wombo into this is big. So, I think Rel would have been doable here if you throw out two support bans, but not the case. That's okay. And going with Jhin as the answer. The ability to have some range. We're doing no damage to Skarner. And we really don't have much damage to Skarner. And then it's Kench, which can be played lane dominantly into this if TL play it well. And also you can deny the one piece of engage that we have. You can try and save people out of this too. So I think that there is some value to the Kench, but ultimately we ended up with a little bit of a low damage team here for TL. And the Lulu really warps this game. Having Polymorph into these two jumping in is really big. You giving Ashe attack speed is really nice. And this makes the game very late game for FlyQuest. Lulu really warps this game to make sure the scaling is in favor of FlyQuest. We're seeing FlyQuest use a lot of their picks later in draft to make sure that scaling is in their favor. And this is one of the games where they did so. So I did find that kind of interesting. Sorry, guys. That's for me. Anyway. I have different profiles for when we have guests on the stream, so you guys can hear them. But this profile is a bit more balanced for me. Oh, game delay. Okay, runes. Anything interesting out of the ordinary here? We have Comets from mid-laners, which I like in this matchup. Should be a few more points in W. Approach velocity. We're abusing it with Ashe. Big fan. I don't think Lulu needs it as much, but I do like it a lot. The Airy, too, tells me it's going to be a little bit more of an aggressive Lulu, whereas Guardian is... You kind of have to be around a teammate to proc it. I do think Access to Green Tree, there is some value there for Lulu. With the bone plating and the buffs, heals, and shields. But, yeah. And then no Blue Tree for Yawn, bummer. I think Jhin abuses Blue Tree secondary really well with Celerity and Storm, but that's just one of my biases. All right. So this game, the onus is on FlyQuest to swap, which I do think the Ashe Lulu needs, so I like the swap. And they cannot have Inspired start enemy jungle because level 1 kind of weak for FlyQuest. Yes, they have Ashe, but they want to play this out. They're going to go check the brushes and try and get impact off, which they do so pretty successfully. Nice backstep there from Masu. They do force impact off of 2 of the first 3 creeps. You can see that in his XP bar. Meanwhile, Cassante got is up a little bit, but I think both these teams, they have been drafting to make sure their top laners can start in lane. They can play 3 lanes level 1, which I like a lot. I think it's been really good, actually. Anyway. And we have Umpty come all the way up here to try and dissuade the dive. Impact's still level 1. Inspired is here, but Umpty's spotted. Smite wasn't up for Inspired, so Umpty ends up getting these. And he actually gets like pretty much everything, which is kind of nice for Umpty. The only one was denied. Inspired can't really continue this, and he's losing out on his bot camps and can't help Blippo, so Blippo's on his own. He's just trying to soak as much experience as possible. So he's just buying time. Yon barriered that. I actually missed that. I mean, Blippo ate the wave. And unfortunately, it does go over to TK. They tongue lashed into auto, would have maybe still gone over to TK. We'll see, but regardless, it hits. And then meanwhile, Orianna's been denied from quad for the majority of the tournament. Orianna is one of quad's best champions, so of course this was part of the draft strategy at TL to take picks to try and deny the Yone and then leave up something like Orianna. So yeah, quad gets this and ends up being a really big game from quad. They play around the mid lane well. He is down a little bit in CS, but APA regrets typing, unfortunately, here. Alright, so we're back to standard lanes here. Impact does have TP advantage, which helps. And then you can see TL actually has some really nice interactions with how they play out this lane. So they froze it. You can see that the Tongue Lash, the ability to combo with the TK, or the Kench, is pretty big. I also want to say that Blippo's Cassante was significantly better this game than what I saw for most of the time domestically. So I do think that Blippo did level up his Cassante, which I thought was quite poor domestically. He played it a lot better this match than what I saw him play domestically, which is big. Busio ends up getting out of the trap, but gets comboed. Nice tongue lash. Ideally, after the flash, Masu is able to block this. Not the case. He does try and slow Yawn, which is big. So he does help his support get out, but still tough. Really important, though, that Busio is able to survive here. Meanwhile, we have Inspired. Didn't go for the G belt. Instead, went for triple Ruby Crystal. Interesting. It does work in the build. I mean, you get more value from that overall. So, actually, kind of like it. I do like it from Inspired. Support prio, though, from Core being used to go mid first. And Tom Kench is going to be more effective at a Grubs fight than Lulu will. So, really nice from TL, I think. Again, in the draft, I feel like they have to speed this game up. So, like, going here is... I mean, Core's not only up a level, it's going to be a more useful champion here. And, yeah, FlyQuest are opting to drop everything. I know, like, there were some memes dropped later on where it's like, oh my god, like, FlyQuest, they play this game so bad, they like to drop everything. In a sense, when you are opting to play Lulu, and you fall behind, this is kind of what things happen. You only need to win and win fast, yeah. Yeah, they kind of run out of damage later on. I also think that the focus on the APA ended up being really big from FlyQuest. Really good here. Really nice 3-man. Core was just here, but Core is spotted going down. So that helps open up this angle onto APA. And yeah, that proactive flash from Quad, really good. Response from TL has to be to go get a bot lane play, and Masu is able to hit barrier. Doesn't sidestep anything, and then has to flash. Well played by Yawn. So they at least snap the flash out of it. Busio body blocks. But he doesn't get access to the wave, so Inspired has to come in. Can't really get real value. Should go back to his camps. It's fine. And TL bot lane wins. So good job, TL. Again, the Lulu pick, like, very much a scaling pick. The fact that it hasn't died yet is okay. But, like, Ashe ends up being down. Good pushback here from Blippo. He didn't burn his ult. Wave's still not great for him, though. Now Masu is no flash, so Kench proactive Q. Actually, really, really well done here. There's like no way Masu gets to play out of this. So good setup from TL. They took away the flash in the last play thanks to some nice bullets from Yon, and then they capitalized immediately, and that leads to Drake. So well played, TL. I mean, no one gets to kill anyone from the FlyQuest comp. I'm down for this play from TL. I just think they misexecuted. Yeah, I mean, again, Busio should die. If they killed him earlier on, by the way, they probably would have had him because he would have been 4. And it would have been a kill over to Yon. I'm down with the attempt. I know it looks bad, but I think that they have to play this game really fast. I don't know if there's a world where Core ever gets it, so maybe they should have played this slower, if anything. Like, Core could have not W'd here, just taken a little bit more of a tower shot, and they could have been able to, like, cleanly reset it with Yon and then re-engage afterwards. I think, if anything, that's a mistake. Because they should have been able to infer that Inspired's out of here. Because, again, this is where they last spotted Inspired. And his camps are on the top side. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll play Busio. Still a really nice big kill on the Masu. Quad has Merc, so can't really be moved now in this matchup. And then Chapter. So he'll be a little bit behind the Syndra, but still not bad. That's a good way to get a flash out of Busio. And it's free, so might as well. Well played. I was just found. I feel like Busio might have been able to avoid this. Yeah. I mean, there was another controller dropped, and Busio was going for it, and there's just, like, no reason for him to play for this, so. Yeah, I feel like Busio could have avoided that. And it loses quad and mid-wave. So that's bad from Busio. That said, APA just dies, which sucks. I mean, APA is... He was just playing towards the bot side. His jungler is on the top side. And he is, like, I think just too far up for what he can afford to do with his jungler being on an objective. Is also spotted. I mean, he was able to get around. I guess they wouldn't have spotted that out completely. Because he gets around, yeah. I don't know if this is commented or not by FlyQuest, but regardless, I don't think... APA can just be inactive here, and it's fine. I don't know how bad his wave is. But he's also hitting the next wave early. So you can just leave that wave and walk back. Because I think he would have had the wave so far in where they're already hitting the next wave. Yeah. Like, the melees are already dead here. He can leave that wave. If his melees are hit, then it pushes back into him, and the wave will come to him. Meanwhile, this is a bummer. I mean, like, this lane's been kind of fucked up here for a while. Again, I think the FlyQuest needs to, like, they just showed a play on mid. Bwipo is trying to get this wave in, but... I feel like an earlier flash from Bwipo would have been... I mean, he ends up getting impact flash, right? Maybe an earlier flash does him a couple favors. Regardless, quad can respond. So, I mean, again. Yeah, Blippo wants to get out of here. Hmm. All right. Seraphs for quad. That's the right call this game. Again, there is not shield break on TL. I think TL is a lower damage team. Just with the Jin Jacks. And Cinder's, I mean, Cinder owes a lot of damage, but I think most of it's single target. Yeah, I mean, everything's just full sack here from FlyQuest. Part of it's the scaling, part of it's like how they ended up playing out this map. Overall, though, like, I mean, it's okay. They at least have Blippo and Iceborne. Like, Masu's at least getting farm. It is 6 grubs, so TL can, like, snowball kind of quick and heavily. But ends up not being the case. As Quad forces APA out, it's gonna... it does kind of matter, though. Like, Quad lost his entire health bar for that, and he's gonna have to match the base. So, it is going to be a lane swap to get Quad bot, but APA is able to save his TP. And because of that chunk, Dragon does go over to TL for free, so... Again, do FlyQuest want to fight that or not? I don't know. I don't think so. I think FlyQuest are really waiting for 2-3 items to fight, but... Yeah, I mean, the FlyQuest comp with the Lulu, like fucking the melees, and then the backline being Jin Syndra, they just need to get to the point where they're too big. And keep in mind, APA's build this game, I will say, this is very much to pressure the squishies with the Ludens, right? It's not built to deal with the top side. So, we have seen Syndra mostly go for this. Like, Syndra does scale really well with Pen and AP, but against the tanks, it's not something like a Leandri's that can help get through those bigger health bars. And it's something like I feel like Orianna's better, having more options with builds. It's part of the reason why oftentimes we see Orianna pick first and Syndra as response. Many, many reasons, but flexibility of builds definitely for me being one of them too. Yeah. I will say the Landed Swap in here for TL. It's Mercs for Blippo, but he has Iceborne, so like has some defense against both, but I feel like this is preferable. Getting the Mercs Jax into the Ori. And you can see that FlyQuest don't, like, they can't, they're behind, they can't play out all 3 lanes, or else TL will just make plays. So, TL got mid prio, they tried to shift top, they shifted quad back to mid, and that means that they open up a little bit of time with bot lane before the K'Sante can respond, and because the 6 grubs and Triforce, they just take the inner on their own. So again, really nice play from TL. Really nice from TL. But still, onus is on them to win, and I feel like their comp is just kind of runs out of gas. They definitely ran out of damage, that's for sure. Really nice here from Blippo. I thought Blippo played this out really well. Like, how Blippo plays this out. Like, for me, again, I thought this was a much better K'Sante than what he had. And this matters, because Impact's K'Sante is really, really, really good. He's really good at peeling for his carries with it. Yeah, Blippo gets 1 flash here. And then Umti doesn't get his ult off before any of this. So he eats that. Yes, he R's here, but still everyone's able to get involved. And then at least pressures Yawn here. Could have grabbed something else, but I'll get sidestep. Regardless, I thought Bwipo FlyQuest played it out really nicely. And all the kills are on the quad, which is not a bad person to have the kills on. And he goes Storm Surge. What also ends up being alright here for FlyQuest is that they don't have to respond to bot wave until it reaches their inhibitor turret, which is another wave where the onus is on TL to play. So they can't play waves to be... They have to play a +1 wave for TL or a -1 wave for FlyQuest. So what I mean by +1 or -1 is roughly like... here. It's like from blue side, right? A wave here is +1. A wave here is +2. And in order to get a wave +2, it would be that you get this wave to crash. Because if you get a wave +1, then the second wave meets in front of the turret, right? So +2 would be that forward. They have to get a wave +2 to be in, which is 2 waves a time where an enemy team has to respond. And that does help FlyQuest be able to respond. And for me, in this game, like, it's really nice just being able to just catch those waves. I know that the inner was taken for TL, and it's good. But if you are scaling... Having a dead lane like that, like when you have an inner down and the team is yet to take the outer of another side, like it actually, it's really easy to just kind of defend this outer and then leave that like you can let that bot lane for TL push out extra. And if you respond super safe on the map. Like it's really tough for TL to pressure to get that wave into inhibitor turret a lot of the time. All right, we'll see the time catch Ashe interaction. Fun. And then we have our fight. So Busio rush redemption here. And this is where FlyQuest feels like they can fight, which I thought was interesting. Umti gets polymorphed. Bwipo TP is in a pretty nice spot. Impact TP is a little late. So they get on APA first. APA flashes into the pit, so he's really stuck. Like, look at how much damage APA takes from the Baron, too. Really smart on FlyQuest to hit this Baron. Understanding that APA flashes back here, and he's stuck in the pit. That's pretty brutal. Meanwhile, Redemption only gets Busio value, really. And he's got a wild growth himself out. But then this formation for FlyQuest and how they respond ends up being front to back. Really, really nice for them with the Ashe Ori core. Really like Bwipo's W too, just still positioning himself within the team. And then Masu, really good pressure from Masu. Really, this is really this fight from the Masu perspective. Let's watch this real quick. I think that W could have been a little bit better, but waits for the counter strike. And then this W is really nice because it catches APA. Not only does he throw out the W, sidesteps the scatter. And then farms APA. Meanwhile, Bwipo's just buying a shit ton of space. Gets Ashe back in range. And then notice how FlyQuest, they aren't going to flash forward. They're going to overplay their hand. They're going to hold on to their shit. They understand their core strong. It's a nice little skirmish win for them. And then we re-engage. Which I was a bit surprised about this, but it was a good read from FlyQuest. Again, no one can kill Bwipo. Like, yes, Busio goes down here. Did Busio... I wish I could see Busio's hums. Is that an E or a W on a Bwipo? I can't really tell. It's an E. I don't know if he has polymorph up or not, but being able to polymorph impact might have been nice. So I think he used... Yeah, okay, he used W on himself to get in. Wait. Was that a Tinder or polymorph? I can't. It doesn't look like it. I don't know if Busio has W up or not. I'm going to actually go with yes. Oh, wait. No, we definitely eat him. Yeah, I think Busio might have been able to W. I think he W'd himself there instead of a polymorphing impact. The polymorph, I think he's thinking that he just dies. But polymorph for me is important after this because he, at least impact, can't jump in. Like, he'd just be stuck. So I think the W on Busio for himself is bad. And even if he does jump in and he polymorph now, he wouldn't be able to auto or W afterwards. You would still get stunned up, though. So like, you have to wait till like to match the timer pretty much. I think that'd be bad for Busio, but I think he W'd himself because the way he's walking afterwards, which is also bad. Good flash by Yawn because it gets out of the slow. Yawn's just too far up here and he gets caught by Blippo. Blippo plays that really nicely. Again, Blippo plays this fight so nicely. Like, no one can kill Blippo, especially with this Lulu behind him, and they understand that really well. And then they just keep the fight going. They have the tanks. They do not take the damage. The ult from Inspired is a bit laughable, but it doesn't matter. I think it's a good understanding, though. And again, like, we saw an OQ team in NA. It was Ducky Getters. Their support is Hiccup, and she only plays Enchantresses for the most part, competitively. And she, like, they had a lot of comps where it was, like, Galio plus Enchantress. And just tank plus Enchantress is so good. You can see it with Blippo here, especially against the Jin Jacks. I mean, he just cannot be touched. He does not take damage this game. So the Cassante value just with the draft that TL had, and not being able to deal with the Skarner, it was big. I think as this tournament's gone on, I'm kind of signing up with the Nightmare thought of why are we giving away Skarner. I feel like there's got to be more ways to play into something like Aurora than Skarner. I'd rather be Skarner side than Aurora side. I feel like Skarner functions well in Aurora games anyway. Okay, Impact dies on side. Let's see what the map looks like afterwards. FlyQuest, again, isn't showing it anywhere. They got bot all the way in. For me, Impact trying to take this turret. It's a bit of a risk. And it's a really nice arrow from Masu. I do think he gets out if this arrow doesn't hit, but good arrow from Masu hits. TK for core was certainly a choice. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. They just, like, don't want to engage fights, but that's just not enough for them. Sadly, this is the most interesting game, but, like, even at this part of the game, as long as this dragon goes the way of FlyQuest, I think this game's over. Because the FlyQuest scaling for me is just so much more advantageous. Oh, man. I mean, again, Blippo's Cassante was really good. Yeah, APA didn't have flash, gets caught by that, just gets perma-yoinked. Really good yoink here by Inspired to separate core. The wild growth is also good because it buys time and interrupts core so that he can't eat APA. So good ult from Busio. Then they separate them. Get them for free. And that's Dragon. And that's pretty much game. You can't respond with Baron. You have no damage for Baron. So bot goes to Ori. Nice. Yeah, so their waves are -1 across the board, so they're able to fix them all, which is nice. And they just get to reset, and then wherever tail goes, they can respond to it, play map from there. Good. Top was in, Blippo walked. In Fog, too. Perhaps a different AD pick R4 than Jin. Yeah, but Ashe does narrow the pool a bit. I thought that again, the Jax and Cassante, or Jax and Xin for me comes out because it prevents a Yone pick. Jax outscales Yone eventually in the game, and Xin is really good at fucking with Yone. Those two picks are there to prevent Yone for me, for TL. But the pivot from FlyQuest to go Ori Ashe into this is very sound. Like, the theory of it's really good. And the Lulu as well really fucks with the front line of these teams. So, in a sense, you're running a 2-threat comp. And as FlyQuest, you have more DPS and a bigger front line and more control with the Ashe. Ashe and Ori, but mostly the Ashe. So, like, yeah. Also, the build from Yon for me, I don't think you can go for both. I think it needs to be second item, pen. But that's just me. And when I say both, I mean no Shiv and RFC. I think unironically it needs to be second item pen. I don't know anything about the math of that build or how shit it is, but going into Skarner Cassante, we need some pen. We need some pen early. It's gonna be Iceborne Rush, you know? So that's me. Especially if Syndra's going this build, right? I could also argue Void second or Crypt Boom. Yeah, I think Void second on the Syndra, but we'd be down a lot of ability haste there. So I Cosmic Drive is fun. It allows you to stack up your passive a lot faster as Syndra, which it is stacked now, but I don't know. I also like Leandri's just given how big the front line is this game. Not terrible. Again, would be pretty low haste, but like these fights are just so unplayable now for TL. It's a decent try by Omti, honestly. But again, FlyQuest, they just good understanding what their team wants to do. Flash backwards. Impact and Umti now are both completely neutralized, and Monster just gets to farm. Also, if you go backwards like this, it really decreases the value of the Syndra. Like, look at APA. He's got to keep on walking up. He does have to respect Cassante in this moment. And then his scatter, like, yes, it does find quad that's high value, but then flash for flash trade. APA is out of position. And yeah. Let's walk out as a team. Like, FlyQuest comp just heavily outscaled at this point. I think it's a good read from FlyQuest 2 to just ban away the Kaisa. Like, Kaisa is just such a high DPS pick if you're going to go with this opener. Yeah, Bwipo just sits in Chinar, yeah. I mean, he's so fucking tanky this game. No one can move him. The Randuin's is based. He still goes Sterax too, which I find hilarious because this man just fucking loves his Sterax. And to be fair, like I think Bwipo uniquely, he is really good as a top laner at utilizing that item to bait. And he's proven it in this tournament, so. Yeah, the items in the end, that's a good highlight. Ends up being really favored. Little bit of dysenergy here, but I still like what Inspired's job and like what he's thinking of this game. A lot of Inspired in these fights is really trying to split up the Tahm Kench with the carries, which I think is sound from FlyQuest. And they do get Yon's flash for this, so it is worth. Good cancel from Quad. We're at the point where past level 16. Definitely worth using Oriole like that for me. I like this angle from TL. I know that Core's down. I think that this is, again, like an okay try. But Umti just gets slammed into the wall. Gets absolutely fucking murked by Quad. Redemption comes in from Busio. And there's just nowhere left for TL to go or like TL to play. I thought Impact's DP was a decent idea, but the play evolved too fast from FlyQuest, so TL needed to play that one a little bit slower on their end. But again, they just have no way to deal with FlyQuest champions. And how many games have we seen where the Skarner just ends up being too tanky and does too much damage in these fights and has way too much control? I mean, this champion's just not okay. I'm really with Nightmare on how OP this champ is. Like, this round, Skarner just seems absolutely filthy. Just there's no way for TL to fight anymore. Like, the Cassante just ended up being fucking Thanos this game. I think TES just B1ing Skarner for TN versus T1 and Swiss round 1. Yeah, just when TL thinks they're safe because Masu's top, the greatest Astro is always hit. True. He does have some main character energy with that. Skarner prio was high from the jump, but I think that some of the prios, like Aurora prio, has really grown throughout this tournament. I mean, I think you can play Skarner into Aurora, by the way, if you leave both up. Unending Despair from Inspired is really base this game, by the way, so I like that buy a lot. All right, anyway. That was the closest game of this next game. All right, it is B1 Nocturne. I know there's been a lot of discussion for B1 Nocturne. Razvan was talking about the Vigar V2 in a Twitter thread. I very much agree. I don't think that B1 Nocturne should be a thing. It's Nocturne for me. The reason why he's getting B1 is because he can flip some side lane matchups. Not to mention the point and click, but I think in theory this champ shouldn't be it. That said, we're B1ing it with the Ori off, which is big. Still Renekton Vern, just we changed it out for an Ori ban on this side. And we banned Skarner, so we let Kai'Sa through. Kalista is picked, though, to somewhat dissuade Kai'Sa, and then we still ban. I mean, Ashe ban's good. Kalista definitely can be played into this. This is something where, unironically, it would have been okay with Jhin, too. Because I think that you're already signing up for a team that's not very tanky, and Jhin would have had some real value this game. With setting up everything else, but we end up with Cassante, which can survive in a knock, and Ahri, which can survive in a knock, and Kalista, which can survive in a knock. Ends up being Vi Ahri after these bans. I don't love the Vi, but it is what it is. I think that Vi, it does have good interactions with Tristana, and I just think that you get cooked in a Rumble Nocturne. Like, you can play Vi in the Nocturne, and it's fine, but I slightly prefer the Nocturne side. Thoughts of Jax? No, I'm actually kind of down with Cassante. Jax loses harder Rumble. And you are leaving the Rumble up as an option. Ends up being Xayah Rakan for TL. Core JJ is just a fucking insane Rakan player. He is so good at this champion. He's been really good at this champion for his entire career. He's got a skin on it. Rakan ends up... I don't even think Rakan's super valuable here. This is just, for me, comfort from TL. And it ends up not being a Renata, because they banned it. It ends up not being a Leona. It ends up being a Senna. I do think that there is a world where, because you have main engage, like, this could be Braum. Braum has, for me, you kind of get cooked by Xayah Rakan in the lane. But, of course, lane swaps are a thing. Braum Kalista is actually quite good. And it might have been a way to, like, try and peel everyone off a little bit better. I think it interacts really well, again, into the front line. But not the case. Ends up being Senna. I actually didn't mind the Senna because it gives you lane dominance and scaling. And I do think this really pits FlyQuest into wanting a non-lane swap game again. I was surprised that TL gave it to him. I don't mind the draft from FlyQuest. For me, it's just more so the execution was better from TL. Because this game breaks really early when they level 3 bot. This is used into lanes where you have to close the gap, like this one. And I'm curious, it's not a green tree. It's actually approach velocity coming out. Usually, you see Fauna Life plus the heals and shields being up from the Senna, but not the case. Everything else is relatively standard. Except for the first strike Rumble. I do like this theory. We saw this from, I believe it was Zeka. Or, no, not Zeka. Of LNG. And the idea is that it's okay if you're even with Cassante, but you will scale harder. You go cashback because you have to rush boots. If you don't have to rush boots, cashback or magical boots are more valuable. But if you do, cashback's fine. And this tree is actually pretty good for Rumble. So I do like the Rumble tech here. So yeah, actually a couple of unique choices being made for once in Runes. Fog. They do get Boostio Sweeper, which they spot. And that ward goes down, ends up being standard. Core do not win the level 1, so they have to wait in that brush. So they could react if they walk in. And you can see they're, yeah, really scared. So they do kill the ward, which is... this is good from TL. TL's bot lane is really good. Especially at playing out their Xayah Rakan lanes. The second ward also goes down, which is a bit of a bummer. So FlyQuest just went early. But it's not... like, they at least didn't take too much harass. Which is... I mean, that is important. That Q was good from Masu. But then they land this trade in the Bustio, which is big. And Umti just finds a sweet timer. The big thing for me is that Masu used his ward here. So FlyQuest, their bot lane has no ward. And they also have Inspired scouted. So they're going to see it Inspired on Raptors now. So Umti knows if he skips a camp, he's going to be here in time. I like Xayah into Vi Ahri. Yeah, that too. It does give you plays. Yeah, the Xayah ended up being good this game. I don't love Xayah in this tournament, but it was good this game. Yeah, so they find that chunk onto the FlyQuest bot lane. These guys are still playing up. For me, this is the wave, given that you have no wards, where it's hard. But if you do sack this wave, then you're just giving away level 3. So they at least match level 3. Bustio ends up flashing that. They try and go on Yawn, but they get baited in. And now Bustio's no flash and is dead as fuck. So. I mean, good bait from TL. Really well played by TL bot lane. They get the flash. Yawn gets out. Doesn't burn too much. And they bait him in. And again, skip camp for Umti. So he's there one camp early. Throws him off. Really big in a best of. Sometimes, dropping camps, getting a timer that surprises enemies. What's most important, they did see the word be dropped from Masu, so they knew that they were going to have that angle. And it's really, really well played by TL. They really run with the map from here. The one thing that TL, I thought, did really well throughout this series, or their season too, was how well they played when they had both side lanes that were pushing or plus. This is a great example of it. Because their bot lane's in, they're able to just shift up early. This wave is a little bit scuffed bot, so Impact gets starved out for this in the long run. But they shift everyone up here and then just take the dive on the Blippo. Like, Inspired's even here to market. Like, I mean, there's an attempt, but man, they're just too good. Blippo's flash for me is errant. Blippo needs to flash because he has a tether. He needs to flash here, this way, to be closer to his jungler. And so that the fear goes away. I mean, he's flashing closer to the turret, but... or he can flash towards, like, the wall. You just needed to go... He needed to go east, where he went north. And then Impact TP's down and is able to catch all this. So really, really, really well played by TL. That's partly because they opened up bot lane. They had that wave in. They are able to shove it through. Masu's up a little bit of CS because the wave was scuffed a little bit from TL, but still finding that dive, I think, is big. For me, that's worth. And Impact has 6, so he can ult a wave, and it's chill. Whereas Blippo is just getting peppered down by the Xayah Rakan, which is really good in the 1v2. A lot of value for Xayah Rakan in the 1v2, and they get Blippo again. I don't know if Blippo had W or not here. He's trying to E out of it, but he misses. Good yoink from Yawn. And they kill Blippo and get him to miss this wave, so that's a really big deal. And this game really fell apart fast for FlyQuest. Impact has no TP, so by shifting everyone up for FlyQuest, they got the kill. They're going to end the play. They're going to give the grubs, but still, TL finding these 3 kills, they have a pretty massive lead. I think they're okay giving these grubs, because FlyQuest can't win these lanes at this point. Xayah's 2-0-1. Kasante's 0-2 down to the Rumble. Like, these side lanes are going to be TL favored, and by giving the grubs, they're able to proactively swap. So they're able to secure the dragon here because they put their bot lane back. And then Blippo, I mean, look at like Blippo's game. He just walked down, responds, gets half a wave, and then has to back the fuck off. Again, the BTFO. And the cancel. This is fucking baller from Core. Really good stuff from Core. This was so good from Core. The fact that like he stalled Blippo like that, misses Blippo an entire wave, and he gets out. Umti doesn't have to Nocturne ult for me with this. But he does it to threaten. Like, Core for me is legitimately out of here. All he has to do is just eat a Umti. And Inspired isn't 6. So I think Umti actually kind of whiffed his timer here a little bit. Like, they actually had 6 advantage. They could have found a little bit more. Or could have just threatened Dragon. Which they will do afterwards. Oh, wait, no, they don't do that afterwards. Because they burn their ult. Yeah, I think Umti needed to hold the ult there. There's a little bit of an oops, but still. I think that sequence is really, really, really good from TL. All right. So FlyQuest trying to flip it on top side. Nice ult from Impact. The Blippo misses the Q. Yeah, it just misses on the impact. I think he needs to hit that one because then he flashes and then he misses another Q and then he goes down. So Blippo did muck up the Cassante a little bit more this game than the last game. Yeah. Impact should have died here. And then good body block from Umti, but the 2v2 winning for TL is pretty much just the doomsday for the game. The CS diff now from the top laners is really, really, really bad. And TL rotated APA up here to just punish the turret while he's still on the map. This is also something I feel like TL did really well with their macro, by the way. APA has mid in. The Ahri was going bot here, so Quad did get this wave in, and he used his timer to go bot. TL respect it, as they barely get out, but they do get out, so well played. And then APA, with his timer, goes straight to where the play was made. Does he impact it? No. But is he the only one there still while the enemy team's down, and can he punish? And is it best if he's the one that gets the plates? Yes. So this is good macro from TL. This is really good map movements from TL. And again, this game, like, off this play for me is very cooked for FlyQuest. I thought the Senna pick was cute, but if you die in the 2v2, then you can see like how hard TL were able to snowball this game out of control. And another game where with the Senna rework, Rakan can somewhat make plays, and Senna is more the Enchantress type. So it was punished again. Really hard this game. TL played a really clean map this game, I thought. They took a one advantage and turned it into a lot. Sorry, we're typing a little bit. All right, could execute. And yeah, they do trade out the objective, but at least they find the Triss, so well played. And Masu survives mid lane play, which is big. He doesn't even burn flash. Or no, he does burn flash, sorry. But still, really nice. For me, again, Umti should have saved this. Because what Umti can do is he can just walk into their topside jungle. Like, the red buff's a global timer, and it's spawning. And with the play being made bot, he can just go yoink that right now from Vi and farm out two sides of the camp. Or two quadrants of the map. Vi gets it. Yeah, I think if he holds that, then they could have played for a little bit more. Also, he is going Stridebreaker this game. Very good. I think it's just necessary into Callista, which is maybe why he's doing that instead of Hexploit. But I am biased towards Stridebreaker on Nocturne for sure. The active is so powerful on this champion. Again, recognizes like a true choice with what Hexploit gives you uniquely to Nocturne, especially with the CDR. But I think the Stridebreaker active is just really fucking broken. All right, another fight that breaks out. Ooh. I mean, the Rumble ult's a really good line of the sense. And then Blippo. Dies. Yeah. Popo has a bit of a moment here. I think the quad might have been able to aim this at Yawn instead of Core. Still hard to hit, but yeah. Like, I don't think it changes anything, but yeah. Then really good reaction from Core here. Just, yeah, really sound onto Masu. Masu no cleanse, so they melt him. Really, really well played by Core. This is all while Herald's going on. The Herald drop is really good. Part of this fight being nice is that it just guarantees that Herald gets in. So, ultimately, I do think that FlyQuest is a bit, like, just not respecting Herald. I say really good find onto Inspired. Really well played by TL. I think Inspired needs to go a long way there and respect Herald. They just do not have the control. Okay, hold on. I mean, it's amazing like what TL did with bot lane though this game, and how they were able to like swap into the sides and get a big advantage that time, or in this game at least. I think they played this game very, very well. And Impact ended up just getting really far ahead. Like, as APA had a really rough game 1, Blip had a really rough game 2, right? We don't talk about this one, you know? I mean, Dragon spawning in like 15, and this wave is +2. You can just go fuck with bot wave here as a team. I feel like the play here from TL was for APA to drop this, go bot. TL hits this wave high, and then just go play into bot hard where APA is on the wave here. I think if TL does that and APA drops the camp, it's a lot better for them. So they lose a lot. Like, this is legitimately a scary play. Quad playing that out was really nice. They are not able to take the objective from this because their timers are a little bit too split. So maybe take a second look. Can they get that after a yawn? They could. Yeah, they could. Let's find some win rate stats. I looked at the Swiss stage, and in terms of how predictive accurate the AWS power rankings are as an expected result, favorite is the higher ranked team. Yeah, underdog's lower ranked. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, curious. Keep going. That's pretty good, actually. Wait, do you mind if I tweet that, PP Doc? I'll credit you afterwards, but that's actually pretty funny. Yeah. That's really interesting, actually. Not too much else to talk about this game. Yeah, this was bad. This was bad. I didn't get this one from Inspired. The flash forward from Yawn is badass though. Yeah, that flash forward is actually really badass. Because he got a 3 root on Masu, And he just gets to shred the fucking fight. Really well played by Yon. So, well done. That was kind of FlyQuest's last chance. Oh, Blippo actually made a lot of room here. That was really close from Umti. Both him and Spawn, like, wiping their brow away, by the way, was so funny. The fact that both of them did it. Impact, Mercs, Masu. Blippo does eat Yon, which is good in the end, but still double marksman. TL were fine. They eclipse the DPS damage. It's fine. Yeah. Well played from Core, too. The Core Bakam is really good in this tournament. Yon from last Worlds to this Worlds is a lot better. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, improvement was a ton. Yeah, props to him. The fact that Spawn did that and then Umti also did the same is so funny. Something quick for Yon in spring? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he just played fights better this year. Like, he was always a good laner. He's just playing fights a lot better. I think, like, positioning a lot better in between fights. He's just losing less flashes. Okay. This fight was actually almost close. Because Yon gets found here. Inspired didn't have R as he R'd Umti. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. He did R Umti. Aquata had the space APA. He does go back in to try and save it. He has a really nice stopwatch too, but they had to burn so much to end up getting Yawn. They don't have flashes available outside of Busio. Yeah, and Busio's flash was curious. And Masu had a bad jump. Azrael can get out, but yeah. Yeah, the fact that Yawn bought as much time he did was big. I mean, legitimately though, like almost a comeback angle from FlyQuest, just given where Yawn was. I think that this isn't on Yawn, by the way. They're trying to play in the top inner. Oh, Yawn gets stuck. Yawn should have committed to the lane there. But they're trying to play him like round 2. And they do have to hover Umti, so I don't know. I think Umti just shouldn't be on this wave. But yeah, he gets stuck a little bit. Yeah, I'm surprised he survived too. Core did such a good job at peeling for him in the back half. They end up getting inhib anyway. Like, look at how Core poises out in the back half too. Stuff's Vi. It's like Yawn actually is able to deeps. And then Core gets ulted. Another W. Sidestep Q. The root comes in, which is, yeah, I mean, it's actually close. Well played. You're trying to replace Umti with the ideal candidate B. I would love to see a bow type player in there. No, Bo wants to play for himself. I mean, APA, I think, would help enable Bo. But the way that Umti played was he was the enabler, right? Yeah, Corbicon's so good. I don't know. I think that, like, it's River or Contracts. Selfishly, I'd love to see Contracts in this team. But I think Umti's fine. Again, I feel like TL have earned the right to run it back if they want. So, yeah. What about UG? UG is used to playing with a winning bot lane. I think that this would help. UG is really flexible and really malleable as a player. But he's definitely, for me, like, more of a carry. He's not gonna... He plays very standard, and I thought that Umti, like, would really play to break shit and take a lot of pressure off of, like, his younger players. Which is why I think River Contracts just fits better, because they're the ones that break shit. Or can, like, facilitate. And I think very highly of each. Very highly of each player. APA, if he R's Masu, I think it's better. He didn't get the R off. Masu did flash. APA gets stuck, so it looks bad. It was definitely bad. If he doesn't go in there, Impact does die, so I understand that, but I think if he just combos Masu, he actually gets him. But he did not, and ended up looking crummy. The R didn't go onto Masu, which is bad, and then he was one auto away from popping his second rocket jump to like either follow up or get out, so yeah. Just an oopsie from APA. Still, TP really good from impacts. Like the one angle where like it looks like, oh my god, FlyQuest is only down 9k gold, maybe they can come back, just immediately gone. Really nice ult here from Umti. I know he doesn't pop it, but at least dissuades any follow-up on a yawn. Not sure how tapped in you are with the rumors, but is there any chance of Bo coming to NA, or is it just not that likely? I have not heard anything about Bo coming to NA. I'm decently tapped in. Most of it though is, I mean, it depends. I had more updates earlier in the offseason than now. There are a couple things that like I know have happened that have not been announced yet, but yeah, or like are probable to happen that haven't been announced yet. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the gifted sub, PB Doc. Very nice.
Shit, he's hot.
I hope XU comes back. Actually, there was a question earlier in the chat who should go pro besides 30 that I did not get to. I was getting coffee and I was tired. But the 4 players from NACL for me that are like NACL or like I want to see an LCS tomorrow would be Yuji, XU, Shaden, so 3 junglers and Surdy. And honorable mention Scary Jerry. Yeah, thanks, PB Doc. Very nice to you, man. Not necessary, but very nice to you. Really nice engage here from Core. Again, utilizing recon mechanics. Right on Inspired, he can't react. And that's the fight. Sejed's good. I think Sejed needs time. I like Toasty a lot. I think Toasty needs time. Supports Zyko best candidate, but yeah. Like, not as confident in him being able to perform as others. Also, shout out Tomio, who I still would like to see get a decent LCS shot. Like he can play there, but yeah. All right, good game from TL. We go to 3. And I want to keep draft up. All right. So, Orianna banned instead of Leona here. And then Jax banned instead of Kaisa are the changes that were made. TL versus Fly, no guest. Sorry, Razvan. We had Nightmare earlier on, but yeah. Tomio did get shafted a bit. Yeah, for sure. All right. Last game. We keep on giving away Skarner. This time we play Sedge Rumble into it with a Kled. I think that Sedge with melees, you can overload the Skarner, but this is the only melee that APA can play. Like, he has an Akali, it's not great, and you don't want to play Akali into this. So I actually, high key, I think that the Galio does dissuade a couple champs that are good in the Yone, like Nico, like Akali. I know that that's not the lane matchup, but like thematically in fights, I think it does dissuade some of the counters. So I actually thought this was really strong. So in the future, if we do see a Rumble on the other side of a Yone game, this is a really strong combo. FlyQuest, we get to Unga Bunga with Xayah being on their own in the background. Also, hold on a sec, Fizz bans. No Ashe, no Renata. Makes sense. And then no Rakan, no Kalista. I feel like this denies 2 of the better lanes, and Lucian doesn't do enough damage for me here, so like it's not going to be Lucian Nami. They need magic, or no, they don't need magic damage. Kaisa ends up being a good pick. I think they just feel like they can beat Kaisa, and like if they do Kaisa, then we get this. And then Rel taking his prio. I was a wee bit surprised that it wasn't just a Rel here, as Shield Break is actually pretty valuable already. If it is Rel, I think the Kaisa does go over to FlyQuest side. But then you still get the, you still get Xayah here. I just think that it ends up being Kaisa Leona. Leona would be very valuable into this. But I think because they don't take the Rel gets denied. Then it's Alistar. I would have really liked the Rel with the Rumble. I feel like that would have helped with the Wombo a little bit, actually. And Shield Break on the Q is really valuable, actually. Yeah. Not anything too interesting here. Yeah, pretty standard. All right. And unfortunately, this game ends pretty fast. I do really like this Galio and a Rumble pick that's emerged in the tournament. I'm a big fan. Definitely want to play a little bit of that in solo queue, but no one fucking blinds Rumble. Really, really nice here from Busio and Masu. I mean, nothing special, but just how you should play this lane level 1. I do think that each of these bot lanes actually did a really nice job of playing out the lanes as they should from level 1. I will give each of them credit in game 2 and 3. This game is kind of frustrating me because TL lost game 1 on a win early comp, and they dominated early by being better macro and not early skirmishing the other team. So yeah. I mean, that was TL. Like, each team had deficiencies and or strengths that led them to really commit to early game or late game. FlyQuest definitely indexed way more into the late game. Whereas TL was much more early game. I feel like some of that is just strength, like team strengths and weaknesses, right? So, yeah. Anyway, this is the game, sadly. And it ends up being a bit Skarner diff, a bit Yone diff, a bit Grass diff. In the flash from APA, like, I wonder how close APA is to 4, and if we can wait till 4 to go for this play. I think that's one big thing. I also think that Umpty needs to flash to match quad here. So that for me is number 1. I think that you need to flash to make sure that W2 hits, and then you get the pop instantly. I really like how Inspired plays this by throwing the Kled into the wall, because it separates the Kled damage from the Yone. And then APA has to respect this flash. And it puts him away from the Yone again. The shield is just... The shield hurts. And I don't know. Inspired, if you go back through this fight and see how Inspired plays it, Inspired plays this fight out just fucking wonderfully. The Q hits both. He's getting... He keeps on keeping the Kled out of the fight, and then he wraps up the kill. And Blippo had shove, so he is here too. And then, like, they actually get quad to get this wave in, and it's just, like, already fucking doomed. His quad gets to walk back with Vamp. It's really nice. Yeah, I think Umpty needs to flash with W2. I just need to go for the execute. And then what happens afterwards... This wave is here. Really nice. FlyQuest in this line, because how they played level 1, they did crash wave 3, so they got the wave to bounce back into them. They let it, and Inspired came back down on the cross-country journey and helps feed Masu a kill. Very nice. The 6 coming in for impact is really big, but sadly it just doesn't matter. Guys, look at how much damage the Skarner took there. Oh no. I mean, Skarner does walk out because of the early kills he participated in with not just 3 Ruby Crystals, but a completed Giant's Belt. I mentioned 3 Ruby Crystals because that was Boost Side game 1. And FlyQuest do the same thing that TL did into them, which is they swap their bot lane that had priority up into top, and they get the kill, which is very clean. So really well played by FlyQuest. Same play that TL did into them in the last game. They pull it off themselves. And then they're able to play out the lane with their AD and feed all the plates over to their AD. We TP bot, catch the wave. And grubs are being taken. So, again, this game gets really toasted really soon. It sucks. I mean, this game just gets blown up so early. Yeah, and then this is just a fight where everything just goes down. So, Blippo fixed that wave. He's walking up. He can't get involved because he's Galio. We send it with the Kled. It's a 3-man ult. And then the Galio ult is just sick. And there's just no fucking play. And APA has no flash, so we cannot get out. He's got a Q out. Yeah, they actually let him get away from the wall, too. Because the only way he can get out is if he Qs out. So, honestly, it looks silly, but it's actually kind of well played by FlyQuest to bait that. And then that's just game, guys. Should TL take this fight? I don't know. Probably not. A lot was thrown into the rel. And again, the Skarner is so big early on. It's brutal. Untouchable this game. Best AD carry. What did they ban instead? They banned Ashe and Renata, I believe. Renata ban's good. I think Ashe ban's also decent. But yeah. How did they downgrade? I mean, the game looks ugly, guys. Kled's a Feast or Famine champion. We just saw a good game out of TL. I don't think this patch was nearly as good for them. They didn't play as good as they were in NA, but this patch wasn't great for them. I was thinking, the top laners at this tournament, compared to this versus NA, they're so much better here. And Impact wasn't able to get the same advantages that he was. How many games did Impact just end on his own for TL? In the first, in lane swap scenarios? Or did he just end, from just being better than top laners that we have in LCS? Did Impact have a great tournament? No. But is top lane competition here, just astronomically better than it is in LCS? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, APA did struggle with Shampoo a little bit too. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Definitely forced TL's hand, changing prios and some stuff. Yeah, I mean, this game's just a fucking disaster for the rest of the time. I mean, we just can't do anything. Rumble, no flash, doesn't matter. Ults the wave, does what he can. Yuan hasn't based in forever, by the way, so he's kind of jailed at a weird item timer. So FlyQuest just get to keep on pulling out the lane. So everything on the map is just their timer now. It's Pickaxe, Essence Reaver right now. And when he bases, he's probably going to have Shiv. Okay, almost, yeah. Learning, I mean, okay, everything about APA and not learning Yone. Guys, how many melees did TL play? And how many melees did APA play throughout the split? None. Pretty much none. Their entire strat was playing into the melees and overloading into it with grub advantage and taking turrets and farm away and resources. And that was just not doable this event. Because those champions that APA was and TL were using to do that were all nerfed. The Corki, the Trist, it was brutal. There's just not a champion that got that through. I think the Aurora is one where I would be more critical of that, because that's a champ where, that's an archetype of champ where historically APA will and can play those champs. The early lane bullies, spellcasting lane bullies. And TL were just not good enough at it. So personally, I would be, I know Yone was very obvious. I didn't understand why teams kept on letting it through, but I think that the Aurora, for me, it was more expected that APA actually plays that champion and not Yone. He was never going to play Yone. He was never going to, no matter what state Yone was going to be in for this tournament, APA was never going to play it. So, and if you want to be critical of that, that's fine. But expectation of oh, why did TL not play Yone? Sometimes they're just champs for you and not for you, especially for younger players. That's not a champ that APA was going to play. It's not going to happen. Again, how many melees does APA play? Galio? I've seen some Akali. It's not great, but he can play it. Kled? How many other melees has APA played in his career? It would be probably more top laners than mid laners, is my guess. All right, so we're going to look for Blippo on a play. Mid's even, and it was off reset for Masu. The only issue is that Sejuani's not here. Sej could have been at this play. Umti kind of gets forced off this, and then doesn't transition to the bot side of the map. If Umti does that, I feel like this play is more doable, but then top is harder. Okay, Nasus, yeah. He played Nasus. Well, Nasus doesn't really play like a melee. You just hit E on the wave. Nice buffer from Whippo. I mean, again, guys, this game's so toast. Like, I think that TL is up here because they just... oh, I guess they have a ward on Dragon. Never mind. What's up, one in? Melees by next year. I mean, I've seen APA pick up chance and improve throughout off seasons, but I mean, I think that I would be, again, more critical of like the Aurora and the Orianna not being up to par, so TL weren't confident enough to use those than the Yone, legitimately. Because I can make the argument that Yone should have been banned just for the entirety of the tournament, right? Pick up a champ. You don't have much reps on it. Expect to have play against it well against players, world-class players who have reps on it. I mean, if you want to be a world-class player, though, then you do have to kind of do this. Like, it is part of the game. So there is that argument, too, you know? I just think, again, thematically, TL, like, they had so many strats and so many advantageous scenarios where they were playing into stuff like Yone and winning. Because they would punish the fact that those champs lack wave clear. Not playing the wave clear lane dominant mids that were meta, like the Aurora and Orianna for me, was worse for TL in the way they played the game, their strategy. Again, like I knew coming into the tournament that Yone was going to be permabanned by TL. I said that on many podcasts. It's just not a chance that APA was going to play. It's either they're going to play into it or it's permaban. And it ended up being strong enough where it's permaban. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I was actually okay with that. Like, I think it's the fact that it was like multiple. If it was just one champ, it would have been fine. The fact that it was Aurora, Orianna, and Yone that were issues really, really hurt TL. There's no doubt about that. Anyway. Really like this from FlyQuest. It's small, but the fact that they got the charge on the second turret while they took the first, really nice. And it was highlighted a lot, but like there's not much to talk about this game. May increase Chample next year. He's grinder, heartbreaking to see the draft limitations. Yeah, it hurt. It wasn't just that. Like TL didn't play as well too. I feel like it. People like usually over focus and hone in on draft. But yeah. Think if that first play goes differently, the game, I mean, it definitely doesn't get as ugly. The first play was what it was. I think Inspired played that really well. The first Grub fight was the one where it's like, oh boy, this game's done. The first Grub fight was pretty, and even before that, like the bot lane gank after mid died, like it was a bit of a collapse from TL. It was. TP first. Well played from Whippo to wait out. He gets damaged before he uses the E, so then he used the E as APA lands. He didn't flash that, and he goes down. Then we get to chase the Rumble. Meanwhile, core chase. Yeah. Oh, boy. That's a bold ult. Terrain diff a little bit. Elevation diff, kind of helping extend that. Really nice for quad, going from low ground to high ground. Maybe Impact thought he was out of there, but yeah, him getting one tap like that's a lot. He was sitting on a good chunk of gold, but yeah, that's a lot. You did not get chained into watching the movie marathon going on at my house right now? No. Work comes first. I had Nightmare on the schedule anyway, so we gotta... I'll be out there later. Yeah, we have a movie marathon going out of the house today. But I gotta get these up to YouTube first. Take care of one or two things too. All right, Bwipo TPs to keep the Baron tempo going. TL is just going to 4-1 into that. So Yone fixes mid. They play to top. Not much defense here for TL. It's a Baron, 6 grub Baron, which hurts. Ult comes out. It's honestly okay because Bwipo's a little bit too far up. And Masu cannot walk past it. So Impact's doing his best here. But again, FlyQuest so far ahead. Doesn't matter that much. Also, the damage on Masu is good. Like, playing the Rumble into the Xayah, you do get some edge, because A, you might, like, force out an earlier on the fight, but also, Xayah in the build right now doesn't go Vamp at all until much later, so just being able to apply some damage can hurt a lot. What do you put chance, percentage-wise, of FlyQuest taking one game off Gen G? I'll give him a... I mean, 20% feels so low. It's only one game out of 3, right? I'll give him like a 45% chance to get one game. Or 40%. I feel like that's a little bit like maybe hopium, but I think FlyQuest, like they took a game off HLE. I just think Gen G is a worse matchup for them. And I think like giving Gen G time to prep and FlyQuest showing as many strats they have, I do think that Gen G will be pretty well prepared for it. So yeah, Masu, I mean, Masu actually gets pressured this fight, but the rest of the fight's too bad. And we're too far behind. And Quad ends the fight with the Q flash. Yeah, the Q flash is fucking nasty. Yeah, Yone just lives. G. All right, we'll play FlyQuest. All right, guys. Congrats, FlyQuest, maybe on the quarters. Big deal for them. Bummer that it had to be one NA team going down. Really wish they would have had different opponents to try and get both in, but, you know, sometimes it's just how it shakes out. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning into this VoD review. As always, if you guys enjoy the content, drop subs. I'll have quarters, semis, and finals up on this channel later. Likes, comments help the channel out a lot. And appreciate all you guys. Follow me everywhere at CubbyXX.